Hey everyone, it's Miss Joanna. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. So today we are going to talk about something called alliterations. That's a really big word. Can you say it with me? Alliteration. So what is an alliteration? So the definition for an alliteration is the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of a word. So what does that mean? What's the word occurrence? So that means it happens over and over and over. So with that being said, it's going to be the same letter or sound that you hear often. So some alliteration tongue twisters. I'm going to try it, so bear with me. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So what sound do you hear in the beginning, or maybe the letter that is in the beginning of each of those words? So Peter Piper, so you hear the p, which is the letter P. So I'm going to try one with my name. So being that my name is Joanna, I can say Joanna, juggled, jello, jiggly jello. So that's definitely a tongue twister. It's really hard to say. So you can hear that j sound, being that I put each word starting with the letter J. Maybe you can try it with your name once this video's over. I'd love to hear you try some tongue twisters. So, with that being said, my book that I picked for this week is called Jonathan, Jasper, Jeremy, Jones. So, what letter do you see at the beginning of each of these words? Good! It's the letter J. And what sound does the letter J make? It's the same as Joanna. J. Jonathan, Jasper, Jeremy, Jones. So, you can kind of predict that this story is going to be about Jonathan, Jasper, Jeremy, Jones, and he is a cute little caterpillar. So it's all about caterpillars, and I think it's pretty suiting because I've been seeing a bunch of caterpillars outside, and hopefully they'll be turning into some pretty butterflies very soon. So, in addition to that, you might see some names on this story. So, this is written by Bernice Holland, so we would call her the author. In addition, it is illustrated by Dwayne Hoffman, so that would be our illustrator. They made all these pretty pictures and designed this cute little Jonathan caterpillar. All right, so in the story, very often it will say Jonathan, Jasper, Jeremy, Jones, and then the story will continue. So when you start hearing me say Jonathan, I want you to maybe follow along and say it with me. So let's try it. Jonathan, Jasper, Jeremy, Jones. Let's try it one more time. Jonathan, Jasper, Jeremy, Jones. There's also a lot of rhyming words in here. I want you to try to point out some of the rhyming words, and then we'll talk about them when the story is over. All right, let's see what this caterpillar is up to. Jonathan Jasper Jeremy Jones was a busy young fellow without any bone. He was born one day in an apple tree and thought the world was what he could see. There he is. My, this world is a beautiful green and good to eat, that's plain to see. He ate and ate so he could grow. He ate the leaves of his house, and so when he lifted his head and looked around, he was delighted to see the ground. The world is bigger than just this tree. I really must go down and see. He thought that just the tree was just the whole world, so he's going to go exploring. What kind of things or creatures or animals do you think he's going to see when he gets down out of the tree? Maybe a dog? Maybe a larger animal like a horse? You have to find out. So Jonathan Jasper Jeremy Jones, a curious fellow without any bones. Went hunting and bumping and inching along. His idea was good, but his path was wrong. Uh-oh. For a while he was humping along a limb, danger was waiting to strike at him. A hungry robin with beady eyes saw fat, fuzzy Jonathan creeping by. A little robin. It's actually a pretty big robin. Do you think he'll eat the caterpillar? I hope not. The robin swooped into the tree, and Jonathan gasped, "It's the end for me." But just the robin's beak came around, Jonathan let go and dropped to the ground. He just escaped. He looks very, very scared. He hid in the grass for part of the day until it seemed safe to crawl away. This world's so big and I'm so small, I'm afraid I don't count for much at all. After he fell out the tree, he's just kind of hanging out in the grass now. Who do you think is going to come see him next? Maybe since he's in a grass, a snake? Jonathan Jasper Jeremy Jones, a determined young fellow without any bones, pulled himself up to the top of a stone, hoping that he would be left alone. My goodness, he looks so tired. It's a long journey for a little caterpillar. But down in the grass where John couldn't see, a snake was thinking, "There's lunch for me." He slithered along and was coming quite near when Jonathan noticed and shook with fear. I was right. It was a slithering snake coming to get him. Will he escape? I hope so. The snake was getting ready to bite when Jonathan twisted with all of his might. The snake struck, but his fangs went wide, and Jonathan Jasper rolled to the side. He just escaped, and he's rolling down the rock. Jonathan Jasper Jeremy Jones, that frightened young fellow without any bones, went humping and bumping through fields of grass till he came to the road that looked hard to pass. Do you think he should pass the road or stay in the grass? Let's see what happens. Tractors and trucks were zooming through, and Jonathan hardly knew what to do till one of them stopped and started to spray the very tree he had left that day. There are some workers that look like they're spraying some kind of chemicals on the tree. So he looks a little bit scared because he knows he can't go back now because of those chemicals. So he kind of has no choice but to keep going. Lucky for him, he went to explore, since that tree wasn't healthy for him anymore. And now he knew he must keep it going, even though the traffic was flowing. Make sure he's looking both ways before crossing. Jonathan Jasper Jeremy Jones, that lucky young fellow without any bones, scurried and scampered and scooted and tried to move safely across to the other side. It took so long for him to crawl. Could he ever get through this world at all? He thought about wings. He thought about speed. Wings. Now that's what I really need. He's dreaming. He could go a little bit faster if he had wings. How do you think he can get wings? We'll talk about that soon. Then Jonathan Jasper Jeremy Jones, that weary young fellow without any bones, said, "I'm getting so tired, I need to rest. I look for a place to build a nest." My goodness. You can see he has like bags under his eyes. He's so tired and exhausted. He fastened his silk to a branch off the ground and wrapped himself around and around. He went to sleep the whole winter through, and while he slept, he wished his wish came true. What is he in? Looks kind of like a sleeping bag. What do we call that? Call that a cocoon? Made that for himself? What do you think's gonna happen when he comes out of there? I know when I come out of a sleeping bag, my hair is all messy. Slowly within his tiny space, a wonderful change was taking place, and one spring day in the warming sun, John woke up with work to be done. He's still inside, except now there's no snow, and it's a nice spring day. I must be up on my way. I can't lie around this cocoon all day. So he wriggled his way into the air and rested while just hanging there. Looks like he came out. He looks a little bit different. What's different about him? He looks pretty tired. What's different? What does he have on him? He has some beautiful wings. His wish did come true. And when his eyes had opened wide, a most beautiful thing was by his side. It was a butterfly, bold and free, who said, "Jonathan, come fly with me." He has a friend who's a butterfly now, too. Why, I could only hump and crawl. I never could do that at all. John, you're not a caterpillar anymore. Look at your wings. You're ready to soar. Wow, he is beautiful. So Jonathan Jasper Jeremy Jones, an astonished young fellow without any bones, looked at his wings in sheer delight and rose on the air in perfect flight. Wow, this is a beautiful picture of all these butterflies. It's just beautiful. And that is the end. So, I want you to put your finger in your nose if you heard any rhyming words in the story. I heard a lot of rhyming words in this story. So, one thing that kept repeating itself was when we said Jonathan Jasper Jeremy Jones, an astonished young fellow without any bones. You can see that Jones and bones rhyme. That was one that was said over and over and over. There are many other rhyming words throughout, but I want to choose a word, and I want you to find a word that rhymes with it. My word is cat. I want you to think of a word that rhymes with cat. Raise your hand if you thought of the word mat. Raise your hand if you thought of the word pat. Raise your hand if you thought of the word sat, like in a chair. There's many other words, too, that also rhyme with cat. So I want you to wave your hands in the air if you thought of another word that rhymed with that. Wonderful. So I have some wonderful activities embedded into this email. They are ones that go with our alliterations. So they're going to be beginning sounds and sounds that you're going to hear continuously at the beginning of the words. In addition to that, I want you to try to create your own alliteration using your name. So if your name was Sally, you can say Sally sells seashells down the seashore. Doesn't have to be that long, just maybe 3 or 4 words. Work with your student on that, and I would love for you to send those to me, and I can pass those along to share with the class. If you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me through email, messaging, call, and I look forward to seeing some of you in our weekly sessions this week. All right, have a great week, friends. Bye.